Defense made a motion for a mistrial. Prosecutor was up to some fuckery. Potentially damaging evidence, no basis for it. The judge specifically said, do not ask that question. Do not use that as evidence. She walked right down the path and asked the question. It may be over on Tuesday morning. Batman Bruce Wayne bitch snitch. Gerald Brooks, your constitution does not apply to me because I'm a sovereign citizen, a traveler on the land. I'm the Moorish Empire or whatever, bitch snitch. Because they're so fucking absurd. If you want to be a sovereign citizen, just do yourself a favor first. Go to YouTube here and just get every sovereign citizen that's ever been before. Find me one that won. God dang, you're right. Don't go down this. It's not the path. Don't have time for stupidity. Some clever dick on the internet didn't find the great loophole in all of the world's law. Bitch snitch. God dang, you're right. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. God dang, you're right. Moorish Empire. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. Moorish Empire. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. The late evening U.S. people.
What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God! No!
Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you're doing it with, however good it feels, however many times you're going to do it, why you're doing it in the first place. I don't care. I'm just glad that you are doing it here with me, Legal Vices, on this little old channel we call Legal Vices. So welcome, the channel where law meets life. We dissect the cases that grip the world, from the high-profile cases that dominate headlines to the hidden gems you have never heard of. I'm here to break them down in ways that are engaging, enlightening, occasionally a bit irreverent, and hopefully a little bit entertaining at times. Whether it's the headline-making courtroom dramas, shocking criminal trials, the legal battles that shape our everyday lives, or anything else that comes our way, we will break down the facts, the legal twists, the shocking developments, and the jaw-dropping moments that you need to know. Are you ready to dive into the world of justice, crime, and controversy with me, the world's foremost law influencer? It's going to be a wild ride, so buckle up, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because this is your front row seat to the law's most gripping stories, including today's story, day 3 afternoon of the Georgia versus LEILANI Simon toddler in a landfill murder trial. We're going to pick up day 3 after lunch right here in just a quick second, but very, very quick few housekeeping things. We'll put up a like and subscribe poll here in just a minute once we get underway. I got something going on in my head, but I literally just walked through the door right at go time from work. This has been a day. It has been just a day to remember, but a day I really wish I could forget. So apologies in advance. I may not be as diplomatic with the lovely Ms. Simon today as I have been previously. I'm feeling feeling a bit aggressive. So it may come out. So apologies if I'm a little saltier than normal, but I just got a ton of reasons today. Anyway, it is 10:11 p.m. and like I said, I literally walked through the door at 10 p.m. my time from work. So that's how great my day went. Jennifer says, Legal Vices, no tweet today. Oh yeah, no tweet today. It should be. Oh, I forgot to. There we go. There. Hang on. I forgot to see. That's just part of it. I had the tweet all locked and loaded and ready to go, and then I forgot to push schedule. So there, boom. There's the tweet now. What? Something went wrong? What do you mean something went wrong? I reached my daily limit for posting. Shut up. There we go. Don't start with me today, Twitter. Elon, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Oh my Lord. All right. The tweet is up. Yes, I am not in the mood, bitches. Exactly. But hey, what do you know? What are you going to do about it? It's just the way it is. So we'll get underway. We'll do the like and subscribe poll. But for now, I'll just remind you, all of you that are here, to hit that like and subscribe button. We currently have 119 people here and 50 likes. So make sure you take care of that because we like it. And Matilda kicking us off with the €2. Hello from the Netherlands, and hello Netherlands from Korea. As usual, it is great to see you here, Matilda. Thank you very, very much. And the final thing I guess that we have to mention is today is day 56 of the emotional support potato pig dogs. Will we get to day 57? That is 100% entirely up to you. Matilda's got us on the road. She's put us on the road towards unleashing the emotional support potato pig dog cam. If anybody else wants to, you know what to do. We don't grift for it. We don't beg it. We just let it happen. What happens. We've got both of the pig dogs here. They're just waiting to be emotional supporters. And kicking us further down the road, one step more, is Aussie Wonderland. Why did I say Aussie Wonderland? It's Aussie Wombat. Make sure you hit the right button. There we go. Thank you so much for gifting 5 Legal Vices memberships to June, Chadwick Myers, Crazy Witch, aka Mrs. Jason P, Chrissy St. One, and Dame Dystopia. You are the 5 recipients of the 5 gifted memberships from Aussie Wombat. Give Aussie Wombat a super special thanks. Thank you so much, Aussie Wombat. Well, we are through the lunch break on day 3. We're going to be picking up with more testimony from Detective Marion Lemmons. We got to be getting close to cross-examination. She's been on the stand for 2 days now. And I wonder how the defense is going to be handling the cross-examination of the lead witness. It'll be interesting to see, because I frankly don't know what they could do to undermine her testimony. It was pretty much all what she did as the investigator. Lots and lots of video of LEILANI Smith saying lots and lots of stupid things. So I don't know. We'll have to see how he handles it. Maybe that'll be our poll for the day. I don't know. Island with the 5. Good to see her, Island. Island was slumming over on Rumble with their disobedient children yesterday. Island says, hopefully hanging with us helps soften the day. Appreciate how often you've done that for me. Come on, y'all. Straubs is waiting to show her teeths. Yeah, they are. They're both waiting to show off their teeths. All right. Well, that's life. That's what happens. That's where we are. And it seems like I need to change the thumbnail over on Rumble too. Great. It's been just a wonderful, wonderful premium day today, but it's not even anything really worth talking about. It's one of those days where 873,000 things just pile up to the point where you just say, I'm afraid I don't care anymore. and then the day progressively goes worse from there. So that's kind of how it was. All right, peeps, without further ado, let's get into day 3 point two, the afternoon session of Georgia versus LEILANI. And we are watching this on Court TV because their audio is 5 billion times better than Law and Crime. All right, let's go, chat. I love you guys. You guys are the best. Thanks for being here. I need y'all today. I need to feel the love. I give you the love all the time. I need to feel. Just returning from the lunch break. Ever wondered what Elmo looks like? That's what Elmo looks like.
I hope you enjoyed the break. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed your prison lunch.
I have to ask you, were you able to follow the court?
Yes, they were.
In those October 5th and October 8th interviews.
All right, we're back with what's her face? Marion Lemmons, lead detective.
On the night of October 4th.
Flacco's Tacos off of Highway 204.
What is Flacco's Tacos?
I believe it's a Mexican restaurant.
Well, that's a good guess.
Did the investigative team determine that?
What's Flacco Tacos? I believe there's a possibility it might be a Mexican restaurant, but I'm really not sure. That's a pretty good assumption you got there, Chief. All right.
That was not true.
Yes.
Can you tell us how that determination was made?
When we obtained LEILANI's cell phone records directly from Verizon and from her cell phone.
No, I'm sorry. I was talking.
What is Flacco's Tacos?
I believe it's a Mexican restaurant.
Did the investigative team determine that that was not true?
Yes.
Can you tell us how that determination was made?
When we obtained LEILANI's cell phone records directly from Verizon and from her cell phone, her GPS coordinates did not show her at Flacco's Tacos.
Where did they show her?
On Arkwright Lane.
And there are no
Can you
subtitles.
describe Arkwright Lane?
Sorry.
So from where the Flacco's Tacos is at Highway 204 and I-95 area, Arkwright Lane is about a quarter mile down the road where Highway 204 turns into Fort Argyle.
Now, were you able to pinpoint a specific address on Arkwright Lane?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And did you do any follow-up research on that address?
Yes, I did.
To determine what individuals might be associated with it?
Yes.
Now, I don't know that we've talked about the Cash App in the defendant's phone. Did you review her phone and see a Cash App payment that was made at the time of that trip?
Yes.
And to whom was that Cash App payment made?
The name on the transaction was Timothy Weston.
Did you uncover any information about Timothy Weston and in any tie to that location on Arkwright Lane that her phone was sitting at that night?
Yes.
Can you tell us what that was?
So I conducted a follow-up on Arkwright Lane. I spoke with Timothy Weston, who resided or was at 14 Arkwright Lane.
Did you see any references in her phone to a Tim? Do you remember?
Referencing Tim, yes.
Can you tell us what those references, like how they referred to him?
Tim 204.
Okay.
They were usually used in conjunction with each other.
And were these in messages between the defendant and Daniel Youngkin talking about going to see Tim 204?
Yes.
Were there also messages on her phone indicating some contact with a fellow that she had saved as Craig?
Yes.
Okay. And did you find any connection between Craig and that residence on Arkwright Lane?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
So Craig is Craig Weston, and he is Timothy Weston's cousin.
Okay. Now, did you look at the criminal history of both of those individuals?
I did.
And can you tell us what, if anything, their criminal histories contain in the way of drug arrests?
They've both been arrested for narcotic sales.
Okay. So they're drug dealers?
Yes.
Okay. Tim and Craig Weston of Arkwright Lane.
Yes.
Now, you said you went and talked to them, right?
I did.
Did you wear a badge?
I did.
Did you go with an FBI agent?
I did.
Did you identify yourselves as police?
Yes, we did.
And did you ask them whether they had seen the defendant that night?
Yes.
Were these two drug dealers willing to tell you that they had seen the defendant on the night of October 4th or not?
No, they weren't.
Thank you. Let me just ask you real quickly. We've talked about how the defendant came back in on the 8th for an interview with Bridget Rock at the FBI office.
Yes.
Did Danny Youngkin come in that day as well for a follow-up interview?
Yes, he did.
And did Paul Simon come in that day also?
I'm not sure if it was that day. It may have been a later day his second interview was conducted.
Okay, he did, in any case, come in for a follow-up interview?
Yes, he did.
How would you rate Paul's level of cooperation during this investigation?
He was very cooperative.
And how would you rate Danny's level of cooperation during this investigation?
He also was very cooperative.
Anything in particular that he did that causes you to say that?
Both of them were in constant contact with us. Daniel specifically wanted to do anything that we asked him to find Quentin.
Did he agree to any monitoring of his contact with the defendant?
Yes.
And can you tell us about those things?
Yeah, so there was two things that we asked Daniel to do, one of which was a monitoring of his cell phone. Specifically, we wanted to monitor his cell phone in a live manner anytime he communicated with the defendant, which means if Daniel's getting a phone call, we're hearing it. That applied to all of his phone calls, not just the ones with LEILANI.
So he agreed to a wiretap?
Yes.
Any other monitoring he agreed to?
Yes, he also agreed to a hotel monitoring where we set up recording devices in a hotel room that he and LEILANI shared so we could listen to their conversations while LEILANI thought nobody was around.
How long did the phone monitoring last for, roughly?
I think it lasted 3 months.
And when was the hotel recording operation conducted?
It was between October 7th and 9th.
So was it in effect then on the day of the October 8th interview that we just watched?
Yes.
They were recorded that evening in a hotel?
Yes, they were.
Just a couple more housekeeping questions so that I don't forget. 535 Buckhalter Road, what county is that in?
It's in Chatham County.
And the Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, what county is that in?
Chatham County.
Now, the route between 535 Buckhalter and Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, does it pass through any counties other than Chatham?
No, it doesn't.
And is the landfill on Little Neck Road in Chatham County as well?
Yes, it is.
The Chatham County Police Department has jurisdiction over what geographical areas in Chatham County?
Do you mean like the boundaries?
Well, let me ask you this. The Chatham County Police Department, is it responsible for policing unincorporated?
Real quick here, Mary Jane apparently was either not here at the very beginning or wasn't listening. I said I would put the poll up as soon as we got underway, and I did. The poll is now up. So relax, Mary. Relax, Mary Jane. Relax. I said we'd have it up. We did. I explained why I didn't have it, but we do. We have it now. So deep breaths, everyone. Calm down. Today's like and subscribe poll, to remind you to hit the like and subscribe button, is: what is the least likely thing to happen in this trial? What is the least likely thing to happen? Defense reveals the real killer. Prosecutor sings about reasonable doubt. It was Colonel Mustard in the library, or she's found not guilty and walks. What is the least likely thing to happen? So there we go. That's your lame poll for the day. What is the least likely thing to happen? And no, Flux, you don't need to call me and shout poll at Jeff. We're already there. We're one step ahead of you. Okay, everybody. Let's get back to the lovely Marion Lemmons.
Incorporated Chatham
Yes.
County. And is 535 Buckhalter Road in unincorporated Chatham County?
Yes, it is.
So if it happens there, it's y'all's responsibility.
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dean. Mr. Hilliard?
Your Honor, at this time, if I could reserve questioning, I think we're going to take a witness out of order.
We are. And so Detective Lemmons, I'm going to ask you to step down.
Another witness out of order?
And take your place at the sixth table.
They've taken like 2 witnesses out of order already. So now they're taking a 3rd witness out of order. At this rate, I guess he's Detective Lemmons now. Poor Detective Lemmons is never going to get off the stand. All right, let's see who the surprise was. Not really surprise witness. Let's see who the witness is that's taken out of order. And in the very quick pause here, let's bring it right back. Who is the mystery witness?
And Mr. Hilliard, you reserve
Mr.
cross-examination at this time, but you will cross-examine later. Okay. And there is a witness, Mr. Dean, that you wish to call at this time.
Yes,
Wait.
Your Honor. May I first bring some exhibits up to the clerk and make sure that everything's in order?
All right. Okay, I didn't exactly follow what just happened there. It seemed okay. It seems like there's no further questions for her from the prosecution, and the defense is going to cross-examine her later. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But while we're figuring it out, Adair K has just gifted 5 Legal Vices memberships to Mama Duke's 5160, the Folga, Superfluous, Percy Pendrake, and John Parson. You're the 5 people that got the gifted Legal Vices membership from Adair K. So make sure you give Adair K that super, super special thank you. And we're going to find out what happened here in court as soon as I push play. There we go. All right. I will take down the banner so that we can put up the identity of this next witness. Dr. Andy Christensen. Is it a male Andy or a female Andy? Andy. It's a female Andy.
Decision should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So, step this way, please.
All right. Good afternoon. Mr. Dean.
Please introduce yourself to the jury, spelling your first and last name.
Yes, my name is Angie Christensen. Angie is spelled A-N-G-I. Christensen is C-H-R-I-S-T-E-N-S-E-N.
And where do you work now?
Angie,
I work at the
not
FBI
Andy.
laboratory in Quantico, Virginia.
And what is your position there?
I work there as a forensic anthropologist.
And what is a forensic anthropologist?
A forensic anthropologist is a scientist who studies the human skeleton in forensic context.
Oh, dear.
How long have you been a forensic anthropologist?
I've been with the FBI laboratory since 2004, so just about 20 years.
Did you work as a forensic anthropologist in any other capacity before joining the FBI lab?
I assisted with a couple of cases as a graduate student.
Can you tell us about your education, training, and experience that puts you in a position to serve as a forensic anthropologist with the FBI lab?
I have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a PhD, all in the area of anthropology.
Wow.
I'm also board certified by the American Board of Forensic Anthropology. And
Board
the Forensic
certified
Anthropology Society of
overachiever.
Europe.
When you conduct forensic anthropology work in case, how do you first get involved in the case? How does it come to you?
To the FBI laboratory?
Yeah.
But the case flow process is that all evidence is first received by our evidence management unit. And they read the incoming documentation and inspect the packaging and make sure everything is in place and in order. And then they prepare that evidence for delivery and examination by the scientists.
Now, before that ever happens, do the agents in the field have to send you a request to do some work in the first place?
Whoever is requesting the examination will send a letter documenting what that request is and that they're requesting lab examinations.
And does that letter bear the FBI's case number?
Yes, if it's an FBI case, then it will, yes.
And does the lab then assign its own case number?
Yes, in addition to the FBI case file number, the laboratory will assign an FBI laboratory number.
And did you conduct some forensic anthropology work in connection with the Quentin Simon case arising out of Savannah?
Yes, I did.
What was the FBI case number for that case?
Your Honor, may I refer to a copy of my report?
Linda Bradford, I don't know who you're talking about, but hi, don't mean to be rude, but where the hell have you been? If you're talking to me, I've been here every day.
The FBI case number for that case is AT, which stands for our Atlanta field office, 3665337.
And what was the lab number?
Daily Quick Bite says issue a trigger warning. Yeah, trigger warnings about everything. This is a blanket trigger warning. This trial has it all. If you're triggered by literally anything, I understand not being here.
Sign for the work that you did.
The laboratory number assigned was 2022-02600.
And Your Honor, before I forget, I would offer Dr. Christensen as an expert in forensic anthropology. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to forget that part. That's the important part of your
Sometime in
testimony.
late November, mid to late November, did you first get a request from some agents in Savannah to look at some photographs?
Yes, the first request I received was on October 28, 2022.
And how many photographs did you receive at that time?
That day I received 6 images, as well as a bone that was depicted in those images.
Okay. And did you take a look at those photographs, and what were they asking you to tell them about?
The photographs depicted a bone that they wanted me to determine whether it was human or not in origin.
And what day was that again? Did you get that?
The communication was dated October 28th of 2022, and my report is dated October 31 of 2022.
And did you look at that photograph and come to a tentative opinion about whether that bone was human?
Yes, my preliminary conclusion was that bone was non-human in origin.
Did they send that bone up to you in any case?
Yes.
And did you look at it in real life?
Yes, I examined the photos. They submitted the actual bone, and I then directly examined the bone.
Okay. And what was your conclusion at that?
That the bone was non-human in origin.
And again, that
Do
was
I make the
way
you
up.
can examine
Yes.
my bone joke, or do I
Did you
just let
later,
it go?
sometime in
Oops,
April,
I said it out
November,
loud.
get substantially more photographs of some different remains?
Yes, there were a number of photos submitted in a communication dated November 18.
And what? How many photographs was that?
These are represented in the laboratory's item numbers 15 through 26, so I believe that's 12 photographs.
Okay.
Well, those
What were they
glasses,
asking you to
babe,
tell
come
them
on.
about these
No,
photographs?
Once again, to determine if I could, based on the photographs, whether the bones depicted were human or non-human in origin.
And what did you opine based on the photographs?
In that case, I did conclude that the images depicted bones that were consistent with human origin.
oh, that was
Now,
not funny anymore.
Shortly thereafter, did you receive a box of suspected human remains from the
Oh,
agency?
God.
Yes, the laboratory did receive subsequent to that physical submissions of some of the material depicted in those photographs.
And what specifically?
Please don't show the
did
pictures.
the lab receive? What did
Please.
it look like when it got to you?
When it got to me, so this is different than when it was received by the lab. It would have initially been received by the evidence management unit, who then inspected and then sent it to me. I received, in this case, I might refer to my notes just to refresh my memory, one box containing 4 additional paper bags.
Oh,
And
fudge.
did you examine the contents of those paper bags?
Yes, I did.
And did you photograph the contents of each of those paper bags?
I did.
Your Honor, I'd like to approach with what Marcus takes Exhibit 78. Do you recognize those images?
Yes.
And what are those images?
These are photographs that I took of the contents of those 4 bags as I received them.
And what was the date of those photographs?
Those photographs are dated November 21 of 2022.
Oh, this is not going to be pleasant.
The items in those photographs, is that what the Savannah agents had sent you pictures of a couple days before?
It includes what was depicted in those images, but there's also additional material depicted here.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to publish the exhibit by displaying it on monitor. Now, were these the contents of these bags, or did these bags receive lab individual numbers at the lab?
Yes, they were assigned item numbers by the evidence management unit.
Now, what were the numbers assigned to each of these bags?
Items 27, 28, 29, and 30.
Does this first image here depict the contents of the bag numbered item 27?
Yes.
And what are those numbers we see in the bottom right-hand corner?
In the bottom right, you see the FBI laboratory number, which is 2022-02600. It then says item 27,
Oh,
dated
for fuck's
11/21/22,
sakes.
and to the side, my
What is
initials.
that?
Can you tell us what it is that we're looking at here?
This is the photo I took documenting the material as I received it. Upon later examination, I determined this piece of tissue to not contain any skeletal material.
Did you do any further examination of this particular item?
No, because as a forensic anthropologist, I don't examine any of the soft tissues, only the skeleton. So because there was no skeletal material present, I did not conduct any further examinations on this item.
The next slide.
Yeah, we're just going to,
This is item 28.
it's a pile of
So this
bones
is the
there.
contents of the
I'm
number
just going to put
bags.
that down there if y'all
Can you
don't mind.
describe to us what we're looking at here? What was in that bag?
Again, this is a photograph that I took just documenting the material as I received it. On further examination, I sub-itemized these numbers and examined the bones individually.
And so you did do further analysis. of
Oh,
the
yeah.
contents of this
Now
bag.
that now that Court TV has shown us a lump of unidentifiable soft tissue from a 20-month-old baby, now they decide is the time to take the horrific fucking images off the camera. Thanks a lot for that. Way to go, Court TV. Jeez.
Slide 3 is item 29, correct?
That's correct.
And can you describe to us the contents of item 29?
Again, this is a depiction of the material as I received it prior to doing
Oh,
my
fucking stop it, Core
examination.
TV. Jesus.
Slide 4, not a great picture, but is this item 30?
Yes.
All right, so the fourth bag.
Yes.
Okay. What was in that bag?
This is a combination of soft tissue and skeletal material as it was received by me.
What did it appear to you to be anatomically?
It appears to be a foot, including some of the soft tissue and the bones within.
Once you had received these items and taken them out of the bag and photographed them, what did you do with the items that you did further examination? What was the first step?
As you can see in the images, there's soft tissue and other debris that's adhering to the bones. And my examination is just on the skeletal material. So in order to isolate the bones as well as to clean the surfaces so that I could examine them, I removed any soft tissue and cleaned the bones of any additional debris.
Sweet baby Jeebus. And some of you have already pointed this out in chat. This woman is being shown the deboned, severed bits of her 20-month-old child. Something that was identified as probably a foot. And this bitch is just sitting there. Not frowning, not smiling. She's just sitting there like a damn zombie. Zero emotion of any sort. Oh, God. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Some of you are saying she freaks out and screams and goes in hysterics when someone questions whether she got Oragel from a convenience store. Ugh. All right, we'll do our best to keep those images off the big screen. But holy crap, this woman is literally a monster. She's just an evil monster, and that's it. Oh, jeez.
Now, I'd like to ask you some questions about the types of conclusions that you can arrive at as a forensic anthropologist, okay? Were you able to look at a set of bones and determine whether they appear to be of human origin or not?
Yes.
And how do you do that?
It's based on my education and training and experience, in much the same way that you all can probably tell the difference between human and non-human animals. The same is true for their internal structures and bones. So by examining and studying enough human and non-human bones, I can tell the difference between them.
And of the bones you looked at across these 4 items, did you determine that most of them were of human origin?
There were some bones that were of non-human origin and some bones for which I could not determine whether the origin was human or non-human in origin, but most of them were human bones.
And were you able to identify anatomically which bone in the human body you were looking at for the bones of human origin?
Yes.
And did these include a left and right femur?
If I might refer to my report, these are listed by item number and bone name in my report. But yes, there was a left and right femur.
Oh, Godfrey.
A left and right tibia?
Yes.
Tibia being one of the long bones of the lower leg.
It's the shin bone, yes.
A fibula?
Yes.
That being the other bone of the lower leg?
Yes, it's to the side of your shin bone. It makes up the side of your ankle at the bottom.
Did these bones include part of the right humerus?
Yes.
What is the humerus?
The humerus is the upper arm bone.
God damn it.
And did they include part of a right ulna?
Yes.
What is the ulna?
An ulna is a bone of your forearm on the thumb side.
Did they include a left calcaneus?
Yes.
What is the calcaneus?
Heel bone.
And did they include 5 left ribs?
Yes.
Did they also include a frontal bone?
Yes.
What is the frontal bone?
A frontal bone is the cranial bone right here. It makes up your forehead.
Now, is that visible in slide 3 depicting item 29?
Yes.
Is it the bone in the top right?
Yes.
Did the bones that you identified as of human origin include a right temporal bone?
Yes.
Where is that on the human
The
body?
temporal bone is near the ear.
And is that visible in item 29 here, or is it in one of the other items?
It's difficult for me to tell from this photograph because of the tissue and debris on the bones in the photograph.
Did the bones that you identified as being of human origin include a left parietal bone?
Yes.
What's a
damn it.
parietal bone?
The parietal bones make up the two sides of the cranium.
And did they include various bones from the left foot?
Yes.
When you're looking at bones that you determine are of human origin, are you able to tell whether they are consistent with being from a human of a particular age range?
Yes, especially for children, looking at the stages of growth and development and taking measurements of the bones, it's possible to tell approximately how old somebody was by looking at their skeleton.
And of the bones that you identified as being of human origin in these 4 items, 27 to 29, did they all appear to be from a human being in the same age range?
Yes, they were all consistent with being from a child age 1 to 2 years.
And when you're looking at a set of bones that you've identified as being of human origin, are you able to render an opinion as to whether they're all from the same individual, like the same person?
Yes, it's possible to estimate the number of individuals represented. So just based on an inventory of the skeletal material present, if, for example, there were 2 left femurs, I would be able to conclude that there were at least 2 individuals present. In this case, for example, there were no bones that were duplicated that I wouldn't expect to be duplicated in a human skeleton.
So your opinion as to the human bones that you received from agents in Savannah, that they're, to sum it up, that many of them were of human origin.
Yes.
Those of them were of human origin were from a child 1 to 2 years of age.
Correct.
And a single child.
Correct, yes.
What determinations, let me ask you this, did you observe trauma on any of these bones?
Yes.
And what, if anything, are you able to tell us about when the trauma, well, let's start with not this case, but just a given case. Can you look at a human bone that has signs of trauma, and can you sometimes tell when the trauma occurred relative to death?
Yes. So if there are, trauma refers to any alteration that might happen to a bone. And we can tell if that happened before death, which we call antemortem, if the bone displays any signs of healing. So as soon as you break a bone, your body immediately starts the healing process. So if we see any signs of healing on that bone, we know that it happened before the person died. Perimortem means that the trauma occurred around the time of death. And this is a term that's used a bit differently by medical examiners and pathologists than by anthropologists. So perimortem being around the time of death, typically a pathologist is talking about a very narrow range of time. Anthropologically speaking, because we're only looking at the bones and we're not examining any of the other tissues, all we can tell is what sort of state that bone was in when it was fractured. So in life, the bone has water and collagen, and it's actually a rather flexible material, and it has some give before it breaks. Imagine, for example, you have a fresh green stick and you try to break it. That stick has a good bit of bend before it will actually break. And this differs from a dry stick where if you pick it up and try to bend it, it just snaps. The same thing kind of happens to bone as it dries. So bone that is fractured in a postmortem condition, so much after the death event when the bone has become dry, it fractures differently than a bone that is fractured in that fresh state. That fresh state we call biomechanically fresh. But that biomechanically fresh state can persist for a long time after death, depending on the conditions of where the body is deposited. So the fractures in a bone will look the same to me if they happen right at the time of death or potentially sometime after death, as long as the bone is still in that biomechanically fresh state.
When you use it, do you ever use the term death event?
Yes.
What does that mean?
That just refers to when that person died, the event of dying.
Is it fair to say that in this case, you cannot attribute any of the trauma to the bones here to the death event?
That's correct.
Is it fair to say that you essentially cannot tell whether any of the trauma to the bones was incurred before this child died versus after?
I can tell that the fractures didn't occur before the time of death because there's no signs of that active healing. So the fractures either occurred around the time of death or after.
One moment, please.
Oof.
These images that we've been looking at, these are the pictures that you took in your lab?
I took these photos, yes.
Do they fairly and accurately depict the evidence that the lab received from Savannah in late November?
As I received it, yes.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as State's Exhibit 78.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, State's Exhibit 78 is admitted without objection.
One moment, please.
All right. Well, he's taking his moment. We'll do a little skippy skip.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Go ahead. Give us your best cross-examination.
My name's Mark. How are you?
Good afternoon. Very well, thank you.
I just want to follow up with some questions, if you don't mind. You said I'm going to skip the first items from October 31st because I just don't think they're relevant. Okay. I'm going to skip strictly the items from November 18th, if that's okay. You said you received 4 items in one box, 4 bags on the inside of the box, correct? Correct. Items 27, 28, 29, and 30. You didn't do any analysis on items 27, correct?
Well, I did an initial assessment, and once I determined that there was no skeletal material present, I did not conduct any additional examinations.
So let me rephrase that. You looked at it, realized it didn't have skeletal material. You didn't do anything further than the initial
Yes,
assessment.
that's correct. Yes.
Item 28, you said they were bones, and most were human bones. I found that, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I found that a little odd. So what bones did you find in item 28?
So I ended up sub-itemizing because I wanted to account for and be able to accurately describe each of the bones in those depictions. Although the evidence management unit initially called that item 28, I broke it down in my report. Item 28-1, 28-2, 28-3, representing each of the bones. And in this case, items 28-17 to 28-23 were bones of non-human origin, but 28-1 through 28-16 were bones of human origin.
So, and just to be 1 through 16 in item 28, you said were of human origin, and items 27 through 23 of items 28 were not.
Items 28-1 through 28-16 were human origin. 28-17 to 28-23 were non-human.
And I was just curious, did you ever determine, is that the only determination you made was just not human? Did you ever identify as being anything else?
No, we do not report what species it is beyond non-human in origin.
Just want to follow up and check on that. Now, you said with the, I guess it's the item 29, which was the skull fragments, correct?
That consisted of some of the skull fragments, yes.
You said that was of human origin.
Yes, items 29-1 to 29-3 were human in origin.
And you, on item 30, you said there was some soft tissue and some skeletal material, correct?
Yes, they all had some soft tissue and other debris with the skeletal material.
And with regards to item 30, I assume you didn't do anything with the soft material, but you did identify the skeletal material.
I did remove and examine the skeletal material, yes.
And did you find that item 30 was human remains?
Yes, these were portions of our left foot.
And you kind of glossed over it, but I didn't really understand. You said that bones are, I guess, a little bit more flexible in life.
That's correct.
Than in death.
What do you mean you don't understand
Then once
that?
it dried, yes.
Everybody
You
knows
didn't
that.
find, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, just trying to make sure I understand it. You said that you cannot attribute any of the trauma to the bones to death, correct?
I can't say when they occurred with respect to the death event, no.
And with regard to these bones and this testing, was that all of the involvement of all you were asked to do with these items?
Yes,
So, you did identify the items you discussed as human material, correct?
correct, yes,
And you couldn't attribute any of the traumas to the bones to the death of it, correct?
correct.
And that's all the conclusions you were asking.
Yeah, in addition to the age estimate of a child aged 1 to 2 years.
That's all the questions I answered.
Did you need any redirect?
No, you're right.
No redirect. Okay, I'm a little bit surprised by no redirect there. Because basically what the defense got out was all these bones, you can't tell how the child died. There's no indication that any of this bone damage was the cause of death. She said, yeah, can't tell that. Well, that would be a perfect chance for the prosecutor to go, are you unable to tell the cause of death? Or to, why aren't you able to tell the cause of death? Or whether, okay, I guess the proper question would be, are you able to tell whether or not any of the damage to these bones is attributable to the death of the infant? To which she would be able to answer, no, because it was sitting in a landfill for 6 weeks and being crushed by a dump truck and then being shredded by a gigantic earth mover and earth compactor with spikes on its tires or spikes on its tread. So, yeah, well, Mary Jane, you're never going to find out the cause of death. It's utterly impossible, and she ain't going to mention anything.
This witness be excused.
Yes.
Doctor, thank you. You're excused.
The defense lawyer is a bit of a prick, but he is asking, with what he's got to deal with, he is asking fairly good questions. He is raising fairly good
I'm
issues.
going to have the jurors return to the deliberation room at this point. We're at a point where we're deciding going forward or stopping for today.
They're going to go
It's a little
forward.
early, but this makes the most sense, I think. But just to firm that up with counsel, I'm going to ask you to step to the deliberation room.
Jurors are exiting.
Well, they've got to continue. We've still got like a bunch of hours left. We still got 2 hours left. 2 hours and a bunch. All right, let's get forward.
Is of Lemmons testimony to talk about. So, see whether we're so can I get a little bit of a break?
Sure. All right, let's take a break. Let's break until I can't read that clock on here. That
3:20.
3:20. Tell me what that clock says.
3:19 actually.
It's got with the light. There's a glare to it.
Okay. All right. I'll look at my own clock.
Okay, we'll skip
Okay.
this
Let's
morning
get back
shiz
into
here.
3:30.
That's fine. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
we're in recess.
Looks like the court is back now. Here we go.
The state is present as well. Mr. Hilliard, you asked to take a short break with your co-counsel.
We did. I discussed it with Mr. Person. I think we're going to wait and do the cross of Detective Lemmons. She's going to be recalled later on. And to me, it makes more sense to do it all at one time than to try and break it up.
Oh, interesting.
It's less effective if I break it up. So I just discussed it with Mr. Person. That's what we're going to do. As far as the next witness, I think the next witness, just to be completely candid, I don't know how long the state plans to take. It will be a minute probably with me.
Okay.
I still think today's probably still a good time to take a break today since it's the middle of the week. We have Thursday and Friday, but I'll leave that with the court, Judge.
Let me turn to Mr. Dean.
The next witness is Daniel Youngkin.
No.
Court, Judge.
Let me turn to Mr. Dean.
The next witness is Daniel Youngkin, the defendant's boyfriend at the time.
We get to meet Leilani's boyfriend. We get to see Daniel, who was thrown under the bus. Now that's interesting because I was expecting it to be the drug dealer, just from what the defense counsel said. The defense counsel said, I don't know how long the prosecutor is going to talk, but I'm going to need him for a minute. So I assumed that meant he was going to tear him apart and discredit him for being a drug dealer and all this other stuff. But apparently it's her boyfriend. So the defense lawyer thinks he's going to need a lot of time with Leilani's boyfriend. This will be interesting. All right. Huh. I'm curious. We'll see where this goes. Shall we?
We're ready to call him. He's here. He's been waiting. We are ready to proceed. We started after 10 today, and we've only taken one complete witness.
We've got a little bit of a late start today. Let's press on with Daniel Youngkin. He is here. He's ready.
Yes.
State's ready. Defense is ready.
Yeah, I just have, because he is a civilian witness and not a police officer, I would like to have one moment to again caution him against testifying about any inadmissible material
Yes.
in the hallway.
Okay.
Thank you.
You may do so. And when Mr. Dean comes back, we'll prepare to bring the jury in.
Leilani Simon's boyfriend / fiance, whatever. Daniel Youngkin. All right. This should be an interesting. Oh, okay. This should be interesting. Face to face, probably for the first time since the day of.
Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes.
The jurors.
Oh, no, don't want to see that. There we go. I'd rather stare at Orville Redenbacher. Thank you. Not, but I don't want to watch him pick his nose. What's going on here? You see her boobs or him picking his nose. Lose. And while we're waiting here, we got 216 people and 135 likes. Reach down there and smash that like button, please, people. That would be deeply, deeply appreciated. And for those of you keeping score at home, we are... Wait, what? Time out. Something has happened that I was not aware of 3 minutes ago. Why was I not aware of this 3 minutes ago? For some reason, the chat at YouTube Studio is not scrolling. Cherry Reed, member for 13 months. Thank you so much for being a member for such a long time, Cherry Reed. 13 months for the puppies. Cherry Reed has just gifted 10 Legal Vices memberships just a few moments ago. If you were one of those 10 people that got the gifted membership, make sure you give Cherry Reed a super, super special thanks. She deserves it for a myriad of reasons, an absolute plethora of reasons, if you will. Not the least of which is because you got something for free. But coming in a very, very close second, Cherry Reed has put us over the brink for day 57 of the emotional support potato pig dogs. We have now reached day 57. We've kept the doggo cam streak alive for 57 days, due exclusively to all of you wonderful people. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's keep the streak alive. Keep the streak alive. Keep the streak alive. All you people, keep the streak alive. Woo, we did it. Sorry, I just kind of got a little excited there. All the stress of the day is wearing off. So, out of here, day 56. You are banished. We are in day 57 of the emotional support potato pig dogs, and it is that time. It's time for us, as we do when we reach this milestone, to give the command, that command we've all been waiting to hear. Release the hounds. And we've got Yoda here close by. Strawberry's hanging out over there. We'll watch Yoda sleep for a bit. Thank you so very much, everybody. You are absolutely amazing human beings. At least I assume all of you are human beings. Thank you so much for all the love you continue to show. Let's get on with it. Let's find out who this boyfriend is. I was just going to say, it's a good time for a midstream grift to mention that we are only X amount of buckaroos away from hitting the emotional support potato pig dogs, but we got there. We got there whilst I was not looking. Chaos coordinator, not to be left out, has dropped 10 pounds. Thank you. I need to drop like 10 pounds times several. I do hope that when Leilani goes to jail, she is going to have hell on earth in there from other inmates. Karma may be late, but never forgets. We can only hope. We can only hope she gets everything she deserves. Thank you very much, Chaos Coordinator and Cherry Reed. Let's get on with the boyfriend. What does the boyfriend look like?
All clear, Judge.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please have a seat. And once again, were you able to comply with the court's instructions? Yes. All right, excellent. I indicated that we were reaching a point. We have one other witness that is going to be presented today. The state's going to call another witness. And Mr. Hilliard will have an opportunity to cross-examine if he chooses to do that. And then I expect that we will close for today and resume again tomorrow.
So he's going to be on the stand for
I know you wanted to put something on the record.
I did, Judge. I'm just going to reserve my cross-examination of Detective Lemmons until she's recalled, but I will cross-examine this next.
So that's very interesting. He's not going to cross-examine her.
Witness.
Probably smart until she gets called back on
Youngkin.
recalled during the rebuttal phase. What the?
State's clerk to raise your right hand.
The evidence you shall give the court and jury in the trial of this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Step this way for me, please.
All right, good afternoon.
Hi.
Mr. Dean.
Gotta admit, I was not expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting nerdy hipster. Nerdy hipster, Kurt Cobain looking mofo with dreadlocks and a cheap looking anchory thing around his neck with a top button buttoned up on his tablecloth, picnic cloth shirt. And all right. No, he doesn't have a bun. He's got a bunch of white man dreads stacked up on top of his head, which is weird because he doesn't have long hair in the back. All right. Huh. This is the dude she was crying over in the car. He's got an anchor around his neck fitting. Nice flux. That was a good one. I judged him by his appearance at first. I was wrong. I'm not judging him by his appearance. I'm just saying not what I expected. This is not at all what I expected. Yeah, I mean, he looks fine. He looks clean cut. Except for that thing, but it's not raggedy. He doesn't look like he smells. I guess I should say he doesn't look like he smells bad. He just looks like he's being his own best self. I just wasn't expecting this. Honestly, I was sort of seeing like somebody's, like a 6'2" white guy with like short black hair, just like a normal haircut, perhaps a mustache, suit and tie kind of guy. All right. Anyway, that just kind of caught me off guard there. All right, let's go.
Please introduce yourself to the jury.
Yeah, I'm Daniel Youngkin.
And do you go by Danny typically?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it all right if I call you Danny?
By all means.
Where do you currently live, Danny? Not the street address, but city and state.
Orlando, Florida.
And how long have you lived there?
Since April of last year.
Okay.
All right, he's already coming off as a great
guy.
Where
are you from originally?
Like where was I born? Or
yeah,
I was born in Germany.
And where did you have a parent in the military?
He's a military brat?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And who was that?
My biological father.
Where did you grow up?
Essentially Dunn, North Carolina.
Dunn, North Carolina?
For the main part.
For the court reporter, is that DUNN?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to draw your attention to the defendant here. Do you know the defendant, LEILANI Simon?
Yes, sir.
And how do you know her?
She's Sky's mother, my daughter.
Mother of your child.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
When did you first meet her?
Maybe 2020 or something like that.
And how did you first meet
her? She drove up to North Carolina from here to see me.
Had y'all had some contact, not in person, I guess, before that?
Yes, sir.
How did y'all first? So you're talking about the first in-person meeting, if I understand you correctly?
Yes, sir.
How did y'all know each other before that?
Some social media network, something like that, like Snapchat or something.
You're saying you had met online?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you remember about that?
Honestly, not much. Just speaking with her over social media and arranging a meeting.
Let's go back to that first time you met in person in North Carolina. Can you describe that for me?
Yeah, she drove up in her friend's car to see me in North Carolina, and I was at my job where I was currently working.
Where were you working at that point?
Love's Travel Stop off of Hodges Chapel Road in Dunn.
Okay, so you said she came to see you at work?
Yeah, I was trying to get off that day so we could hang out.
And did y'all end up hanging out that day?
Yeah, I think she stayed the night with me.
Okay, and was that a one-night stay at that time, or multiple nights, or what?
I believe at the time it was a one-night stay.
Okay, and after that, after staying with you for that one night, where did she go?
Back down here, I believe.
At some point, did she move up there and begin living with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and did she have children at that point?
Yes, sir.
Did they come up and live with you as well?
No, sir.
What was your understanding of where they were at that time?
With her mother.
This is a good
Now,
military
where were
kid
y'all
right
living,
here. You can tell.
When she moved up to North Carolina and started living with you.
In my parents' house.
Okay. And did she eventually get a job up there?
Yes, sir.
And where was that?
She had two separate jobs that she was working for at different time periods.
Okay. Can you tell us what they were?
One was at Love's Travel Stop on the gas station side, and the other one was Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue, where I used to be a manager at.
Okay. And I'm not sure I understood it. Was she working those jobs?
Separate times.
Separate times. What was the first one?
Love's Travel Stop.
Okay. And you mentioned that you worked.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Did y'all work there at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all overlapped at Love's?
Yes, we worked sometimes, like occasionally work the same shift on different sizes. So I was working at the Subway there, but normally it'd be different shifts.
Welcome, incoming Aussie Overlord Raiders. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have all of you here from Aussie land. Hit that like button on the way in. We got 260 concurrent viewers and 160 likes, so we are 100 behind on the likes. Hit that like button, take the like and subscribe poll. And this is the boyfriend of LEILANI Simon, the woman who is charged with 19 crimes involving the murder of her 20-month-old son. So this guy's a good guy. He clearly comes across and strikes me as a very good military kid. His answers are quiet, respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. Seems like a good guy.
And
boyfriend.
You're living in your parents' house.
Ex-boyfriend.
About how long did that go on for?
I don't want to make it. I don't remember, to be 100% honest.
Okay. At some point, did the two of y'all move down here to Savannah?
Yes, sir.
And where did y'all move into?
The house on Buckhalter Road.
Did y'all ever live in any other residence in Savannah, or was that the first place y'all moved back to?
No, that was it.
Okay. Who was living there at the time?
Her brother Joe was living there, and Thomas and Billy were there, living there, but they weren't there. They were working a lot, so they were on the road.
Okay. At some point, did Joe move out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at some point, did Paul move in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Defendant's brother, Paul Simon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When or where were y'all living at the time that the defendant gave birth to your child, Scott?
Buckhalter.
Okay. So y'all were living in Savannah at that time?
Yes, sir.
What do you remember about the birth of Scott?
It was fast and enlightening for me, I guess.
Before Sky was born, and you were living in Savannah at the Buckhalter house, were Zane and Quentin living there as well?
Yes.
Okay. Was that the first time that you met Zane and Quentin when you moved down here with the defendant, or had you already met him?
Stone cold.
I had met Quentin before.
So let's go to the time period where you're living in Savannah in the Buckhalter house with the defendant and the three children, Zane, Quentin, and newborn Scott. What was your relationship like with her two older children, Zane and Quentin?
Good. Loved them like they were my own.
What do you remember about Zane?
Lots of energy, and liked to play a lot, and had a lot to say. Didn't really know how to say a whole lot, but had a lot to say.
What do you remember about Quentin?
Pretty much the same thing, honestly. And he was a lot more. He was more chill, I guess, than Zane. Zane was more high energy, but Quentin always had a lot he wanted to say and play with his brother a lot.
I see, as I've asked you these questions about the children, I noticed that you seem to be smiling a bit. Do you remember them fondly?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you about work in Savannah. When you first got down here, about how long did it take before you got a job?
I actually transferred from the Love's Travel Stop in North Carolina to the one off of Dean Forest Road and worked at the Hardee's there.
And was the defendant working anywhere in Savannah at that point?
Yeah, I think she was working at this gas station off of 204, I think.
Now,
that's a poor guy.
Moving forward to the time frame of Quentin's disappearance, okay? I want to ask you about October 2022. Do you remember the day of the 911 call and all that?
Yeah, I do, but vaguely, but yeah.
This guy right here in 4 or 5 minutes has shown more genuine emotion for the loss of that kid than she has shown in 2 damn years. I feel sad for this guy. Damn.
In that general time frame, where were you working?
I was working at a warehouse for a company named Eclipse.
And where was that warehouse located?
What's that? Port Town? I forgot the name of the town.
Is it Port Wentworth?
Yeah, I didn't want to sound crazy by saying, yeah, that's what I think so.
And was the defendant working there as well?
Yes, sir.
What shift did you all work during that time period? What were your hours?
First, worked from like 6 or 6:30 to like 3 or something like that.
And what about Paul? Was he working there as well?
Yes, sir. He was working the second shift.
And do you remember roughly what his hours were?
Yeah, I actually think we worked till like 2. I'm not 100%, but his were like 2 to 10 or something like that.
Okay. 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. roughly.
Yes, sir.
Would Paul probably be a better person to ask about that?
Probably.
October 4th, specifically, the day before the 911 call. Okay, I want to ask you about that day specifically. Did you go to work that day?
The day before?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And
No, maybe. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember. I know I took her to get her tooth pulled that morning.
the morning before the 911 call?
Yeah.
Okay. You're saying you don't remember whether you were before that?
I don't remember 100%. I'm not gonna.
That's fine. What do you remember about the defendant taking the defendant to get her tooth pulled?
Early that morning. Oh yeah, I think we were at work that day, and we left because her tooth was hurting, and then I took her to the dentist, and she got her tooth pulled that day, and yeah, that's pretty much that.
What car were you driving?
The Dodge Journey.
And do you remember where the dentist was that you went to, or what it was called?
I do not. I barely remember the Savannah area.
Did you stay there with her while she had her dental work done?
In the general area. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to be back there.
Okay, what do you mean by the general area?
But I went to the liquor store while she was getting her tooth pulled.
And did you end up driving her home?
Yes.
So after you went to the liquor store, did you come back to the dentist's office that she was at?
Yes, sir.
I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about this. At that point in time, were you a bit of a drinker?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that, please?
Well, I like Fireball.
Oh, God. All right.
Were you drinking every day at that point in time?
Unfortunately.
What about now?
No.
A daily Fireball drinker. Okay, he's just lost all credibility with me as a witness. Never believe it. Just kidding. I hope he's no longer dependent on daily consumption, but I also hope he's graduated to something beyond Fireball.
So you're at the dentist's office.
Oh, Fireball.
Did she get her tooth pulled?
Yeah.
Okay. And at some point, did y'all leave?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Where did you go?
To get some food.
Do you remember where you went?
I believe it was Cheddar's or something. She wanted some soup.
Okay. And did y'all go anywhere after that?
I think back to the house. Or maybe we went to 204 too. Or we went back to the house. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
Where were the kids at the time you got back to the house?
With the babysitter, Michelle.
And is that where they had been all day?
Yes, sir.
From before y'all went?
Yeah. That's why they were at Michelle's, because we wouldn't have worked.
Okay. Tell us about the process of getting the kids ready and dropping them off at Michelle's in the morning. How would that go?
Normally, I would get them ready and drop them off myself while she slept.
No.
What do you mean? I thought y'all worked the same shift.
We did, but she tended to sleep in as late as possible, and I would normally get the kids ready and drop them off over there and then come back and get her.
What a horrible mother.
I understand you live pretty close to y'all's house.
Across the street.
Would you walk them over there?
No, I'd drive them. That would be a little rough to try and carry Sky and walk the other 2 little ones across the street at the same time.
I see. So the morning before the 911 call, the day of the trip to the dentist, had you done that in the morning?
Drove them over, yes.
Yeah, okay. And let's go back to Cheddar's. You left the dentist, you go on to Cheddar's to get some soup for the defendant.
I believe it was close by, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure.
And after Cheddar's, you said you came home, right?
Yeah.
What happened after you got home? What did the rest of the day look like as far as you remember?
To be honest, I really don't, other than like, I know she went to sleep and I tried to clean up a little bit and stuff before I went and picked up the kids, and then picked up the kids and came back and kind of just followed suit.
And do you remember when you picked up the kids?
Not the exact time, though, but I know the general time was around like 4:30 or 5 is when I was supposed to.
Yeah, you don't know where to look, do you? You have no idea where to look.
States Exhibit 85. Your Honor. Take a look at that. Do you recognize the document that I've just handed you?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Text messages between me and Michelle, the babysitter.
Did you text Michelle about picking the children up that day, October 4th?
Yes.
All right. Does this document that I've given you fairly represent your text messages with Michelle during this time frame?
Yes, sir.
Do I not offer this in as States Exhibit 85?
Mr. Hilliard?
No objection, Your Honor.
This has so many
85,
parallels to
is
the
it
Sarah Boone trial.
Can you look at that and tell me when you texted Michelle about?
She's liquored out of her gourd. He has a drinking issue, but he still has to man up and take care of stuff. She stays in
I texted
bed.
her and said, we just got home. She got her top.
Has to be reminded to pick up the kid.
Top left wisdom tooth removed. I'm going to try and clean for a while. Clean for a few while she naps. She's still loopy from the meds. Is 4:30 still okay?
And what did Michelle say?
Okay, 4:30.
And did you end up picking up the children around that time?
Around that general time, yeah. But I think it might have been 5 o'clock or something like that, but general time frame, yes.
And did you bring them home?
Yes.
So now we're in kind of the late afternoon. And who's in the house?
Me, Leilani, and the Quentin, Sky, and Zane.
And was Paul at work during this time frame, as far as you know?
Yeah.
Did you make any trips away from the house to get a beer or go to Redbox or anything like that?
Probably.
Okay. And what do you remember about dinner that night?
I cooked it.
I think I might have remade some spaghetti.
Of course it was him. It wasn't going to be her dumbass.
Stuff like that. To some spaghetti I made like the day before or something like that.
I will say
Did the
second day
defendant
spaghetti is
participate
awesome.
in preparing dinner that day, from what you remember?
Not from what I remember.
What was she doing?
To be honest, whatever she normally did, I kind of tried to not stress myself out too much about whatever she was doing.
Now, how was Quentin during the time frame that we're talking about? Dinner time?
Fine.
Time frame?
Perfectly fine.
Nothing out of the ordinary?
No, not at all.
After dinner, at some point did y'all get the kids ready for bed and put them down? Or one or both of you?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
What do you remember about that? Try to put yourself back in that house and tell me what you remember about the bedtime routine.
I really don't, to be honest. I was not fully. I probably just the normal, get them changed into their night clothes and make sure they're all cleaned up and fed, and Zane would have his little tablet and Quentin would have his tablet, and they just watch TV until they fell asleep.
Now, from this point forward, did you leave the house again that night at any point?
No.
And did the defendant?
Yes, sir.
What is the first trip that you remember her taking?
To 204.
Did the two of y'all talk about that? She said anything to you before she left?
Yeah, she told me she was doing that.
Do you remember what led up to her leaving? Anything about that?
No.
That's fine. Really. And what were you doing at the time that she left for 204?
Laying in bed.
What were the children doing?
Laying down as well.
Where were each of the three children in the house?
Zane was on his race car bed. Sky was on the couch or in her swing, and Quentin was in his playpen.
At the time that the defendant left for 204, was Quentin okay?
Yeah.
Did anything at all out of the ordinary happen to that point?
No.
And what happened? What was going on while she was gone on that trip to 204?
I think I fell asleep.
Anything unusual happened with the children while she was gone?
No. Well, I was getting ready to fall asleep, and then Paul came home.
Oh, okay. Paul came home at some point while you were.
Yeah.
Well, if I understand it correctly, while the defendant was gone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about Paul coming home.
He came into the room and asked where Leilani was, and I told him where she was, and then he said okay, and then he went and got some food for himself from the fridge or freezer, and just ate, I guess, and chilled.
When you say he came into the room, what do you mean? What room are we talking about?
The downstairs portion of the house where we were residing.
The bedroom that the
Yeah.
5 of y'all lived in together, you, Leilani, and the 3 children?
Paul is her brother.
So, yeah,
Where were you when Paul came into the room?
in the bed.
And where were the children?
No, that is her
On the other
boyfriend,
side of the room. in
not
their
his boyfriend.
beds.
Were they okay at that point?
Yeah.
Do you remember Paul having any interaction with the 3 children when he came in?
Not 100%, no, but he might have said something to Zane. Might have said hey to Zane or something.
At some point, did Paul go upstairs? I think you mentioned something about him going to eat.
Yes, sir.
What do you remember about that?
I wasn't in there, so I don't really remember. I just know he was in the kitchen for a second, and I couldn't see what he was doing. So.
Did you see him again after that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. At some point, did he go upstairs and confine himself to his room?
I would imagine so, since I stayed in the room in the bed. But yeah, I would say yes.
Now, do you remember the defendant getting home from the 204 trip?
No.
And why is that?
I was asleep.
What's the next memory you have of that night or morning?
Waking up, and she was beside me, and that was that.
At the time that you went to sleep, was Quentin okay?
Yeah.
Had anything at all happened at that point?
Not to my knowledge.
And let's talk about the night. Do you remember seeing or hearing anything during the night?
No, I don't.
Do you remember waking up to anything unusual or anything like that?
No.
Had you had anything to drink that night?
I would imagine so.
Why do you say that?
Because that was my daily routine.
What was your daily routine like in terms of drinking? I know you said earlier, I asked you to kind of talk about your drinking. You said you like Fireball, but a little more specifically, what would you drink on a daily basis?
Probably over the course of the day, probably like four or five shots of Fireball and like 3 or 4 25-ounce beers.
And how much of that was after work in the afternoon and evening?
A majority.
I'm going to make a prediction here. The defense is going to go with, you're an alcoholic and don't remember anything. I think I have a, that's what my gut tells me. He's going to go down that path where you're just a drunk and can't remember anything.
So let's go to you waking up. Did you?
I hope he doesn't, but that's
did
my
you wake
feeling.
up in response to an alarm or what?
Yeah, I think my alarm on my phone went off.
And where did you have your phone that night?
Maybe it was under my pillow. I don't know.
Why would it have been under your pillow?
She had a tendency of going through my things.
What do you mean?
She would, without my knowledge, take my devices and go through them, and I felt it was invasive.
Damn straight it is.
Why was she doing that?
She had this idea that I was wronging her.
How were things between the two of you at this time?
There wasn't much there. I was there for Sky.
So you think you had an alarm set and your phone might have been under your pillow? Is that kind of where we left off?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you get up, what do you do?
Normally try and be quiet so I don't wake any of the kids up. And I tried to wake her up, but she was, normally if I do that, I'd either get yelled at or something like that. So I said, hey, are you going to work today? She's like, no. And that's when I proceeded to text Michelle and say that she was going to watch the kids. as in this exhibit here, it says, hey, the kids are going to stay here with her today, Miss Michelle.
And what time was that text sent?
5:20 a.m.
A moment ago, you were talking about what would happen in the morning when you get up for work and you try to wake her up, and you said she would be like,
oh yeah, she'd yell at me or, yeah, pretty much I get yelled at.
by the phrasing, she would be like yelling at you. Can I take from that this is something that this is not the first time this had happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell us about that? There's a history of this?
It's a pretty general thing at that time.
Tell me what you mean.
I would try and wake her up to go to work, and she would either yell at me for waking her up or say she's not going in, and she would make up the time and go in with Paul on his shift. It'd be a rare occasion for me not to get yelled at or that to happen.
Why was it during that time frame that you were able to get up and go to work as scheduled, and she had these difficulties with that? What was going on?
I'm sorry, could you?
Why was it that you were able to get up to go to work and she was having these difficulties getting up, going to work during this time period? What was going on?
Oh, I would go to sleep and she wouldn't be there. So I just was kind of making sure that I could get a paycheck at that point. So I just kind of let her be her own person, of course. Well, not let her, but she would do whatever she did, and I would make sure that the kids were taken care of and that I'd make it to work at least somewhat on time.
So there are times you go to sleep at night so that you're able to get up for work and she's not there.
There were times like that, yeah.
And would she talk to you about where she had been?
I never asked.
Now, let's go back to that text message to Michelle. Before you sent that text message to Michelle, had you been planning on taking the 3 children to Michelle's house that morning?
Yeah, the plan was because we missed the day before of work for her tooth removal. And we both were scheduled for the next day for a shift. The plan was to drop the kids off and go to work with her.
Were y'all salaried or hourly?
Hourly.
So you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
It mattered.
Yeah. Were y'all saving up for anything in particular at this point in time?
So, yeah, a place.
Tell me about that.
What would you like to know about it?
Yeah.
Well, what were y'all trying to do?
Oh, get our own place and out of her mother's house.
And why was that?
Because it's her mother's.
There were some complications going on that we were told we had to leave, so we were prepared for that.
And
Trying to.
Well, the day that we're talking about, October 5th, 2022, did you all at that time have the money to go into your own place?
No.
And were you trying to accumulate the money to do that?
Yeah.
What type of place were y'all planning to get? Apartment, house? What are we talking about?
Really whatever we could afford.
And is that something that y'all have been talking about in the days leading up to October 5th?
Yeah.
How much did y'all have to pay the babysitter? Well, first let me ask you, did you pay her?
Yeah.
And do you remember how much per day or per week or what?
Yeah, it says here at the top of the exhibit where she sent me a text message saying, hey, I haven't been charging for Sky. I do this charge for newborns until they are 3 months. So I will have to start charging for Sky. So 45 a day is $225, but I'll charge y'all $200 for all 3. That is still a good deal. Daycare would be way more.
And that was going to be $200 how often?
A week. Which is quite an expense. For 5 days a week. That's what it was added up to. So.
What was the date of that text message where Michelle told you that she was about to have to start charging separately for Sky?
October 3rd.
And prior to that, had you all only been paying for Zane and Quentin?
Yeah.
So it was about to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So when she wouldn't wake up on the morning of October 5th, were you frustrated by that?
Luna, heel. Down, girl.
At that point, I just kind of blocked everything out and just made sure I made it to work.
How did you get to work?
I drove the vehicle that her mother had bought for her.
Which vehicle is that?
The Dodge Journey.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary in the vehicle when you got in it?
No.
If there were fireball and curveball bottles in that vehicle at the time that police searched it? Is it possible?
Curveball. What the hell's curveball?
Attributable to you?
Yeah, quite likely.
Did you sometimes drink in the car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would that be like while you were driving or when you were on break? Or
Unfortunately.
Oh no, dude.
What do you remember about driving to work? Anything out of the ordinary?
No, nothing out of the ordinary. Just trying to get there.
Getting out of the house that morning, when you left the house.
Curveball, original smoked
Did you
whiskey.
have any idea that Quentin was gone?
Oh, that looks horrible.
Did you turn the lights on in that room before you left?
No, sir.
Wait, what? Have you got your hands on it yet? Curveball American smoked whiskey is no ordinary whiskey. It's crafted to shake up your pregame and keep you coming back for more. With rich, complex flavors and a badass smoky edge, Curveball's got that bold twist you didn't know you were missing. Clocking in at 34% ABV, this unapologetically American whiskey is crafted right here in the USA, 100% gluten-free and perfectly made for those moments that deserve a shot of flavor. Curveball isn't just a drink, it's an experience that leaves an impression. I bet it does leave an impression. It says original barbecue whiskey. Sweet baby Jesus, tell me this is not barbecue sauce flavored whiskey. Oh dear. Wow. Dude, I get it. You're young. I'll give you, if you're, he's probably 24 now, at least. I'll step up your game, 24-year-old plus young man. I'll give you Fireball, Jägermeister. I'll give you all that until you're 24. After 24, you got to think about life choices.
Did not.
Why not?
I didn't want to wake any of them.
Did you believe that there were 3 sleeping children in that room when you woke up?
I did believe that.
Is it fair to say that you were kind of trying to sneak out without disturbing them?
Yeah, because if I wake them up, then it's a whole thing.
Did you look in Quentin's pack and play before you left?
No, I didn't.
You okay?
Yeah.
At some point during the investigation, was there a period of time where you told the police that you had seen him that morning?
Yes, sir.
Were you sure about that at the time you said it?
No.
And are you sure now that you didn't see him?
I didn't look.
I noticed that you seemed, I asked you if you looked, and it seemed like you got a little emotional in response to that question. What is it about that question in particular that makes you upset?
Just, I wish I looked. No, I don't know if it would have made it. I don't. Just wish I looked.
Anything out of the ordinary from your perspective when you're leaving the house that morning?
No, sir.
Anything out of the ordinary in terms of the drive to work?
No, sir.
Anything out of the ordinary in terms of arriving at work?
No.
And when you left the house to go to work, which door did you go out of?
The back door by the pool.
Is that the one where you have to walk out through the bathroom?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Now, did you work a full shift that day?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I
received a phone call from LEILANI saying that Quentin was missing.
Where were you when you got that phone call?
In the back of a truck, loading it, because my job was to load 18-wheelers by hand.
So you're in a truck loading boxes and you get this call.
Yes, sir.
And what is your best recollection of what she said to you on that call?
Have you seen, or Quentin's not here? I'm pretty sure it just began with, where's Quentin? Where's my baby? Quentin's not here.
How long was that phone call, as far as you remember it?
From the time she called me to the time I got to Buckhalter.
And what were y'all talking about during that time period?
She was crying most of the time. I just stayed on the phone with her the whole time.
Did she tell you anything about what happened when she woke up?
The door was open or something, and Quentin wasn't in his playpen. And me trying to calm her down.
Going back to when you got this call and you left work, tell me about leaving work. What do you remember about it?
I ran out of there as fast as I could, and I actually left my jacket and a whole pack of cigarettes. which later on my boss mailed it to me, thankfully, and it still had a pack of cigarettes in it.
What's his name?
Dave.
Did you see Dave that morning?
Yeah, I passed him in the parking lot. I didn't say anything, but he stopped me, and he said, "Hey, you can't run past security like that." And I explained what happened, and he said, "Okay," and I left.
Was this when you were on the way out to go home?
Yes, sir.
There was security at the exit to the warehouse?
Yeah, there's security there when you go in and when you leave.
Why is there security when you go out?
I think they just stay there all day for people who come in.
Okay. And you're supposed to get checked out by security when you go out?
Well, you're supposed to talk with whoever your supervisor is, but I didn't even care to stop.
Okay. You just kind of blew by?
Yeah.
I'd like to approach with what I have marked as State's Exhibit 30. Your Honor.
Okay.
And while he's doing that, Irish, I was drunk with the €2.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Chad. How are we, lads and lasses? We're doing great.
Going into work.
Thank you very much. Good to see
Referring
you.
to video
brother.
recordings?
Yes, sir.
Do the recordings on this disc fairly and accurately depict your arrival to work that morning and your departure?
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would offer, yeah, it's fine.
We get to see him arriving.
Okay.
All right, admit it without objection.
What does that mean? He's going to play?
Yeah. That's what it means.
Or does that mean you're about to play it? And I responded, yes.
Sorry.
It's okay. Everything is being recorded. Everything that we say is taken down.
Before I play it, is there any particular reason you asked that question?
I didn't understand what you said. But well, you said you presented the. I just didn't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
No apology necessary.
All right. We'll kind of plow through this here until it starts.
0695.
Yes, sir.
Where are you?
Oh.
This one is. Do you see yourself in this video?
Yes, sir.
We don't.
Where are you?
The bright orange.
What is that bright orange garment that you have on?
My North Face jacket.
What? So they'll. Okay.
Let me go back. Is the bright orange thing your North Face jacket, or is that a safety vest?
I believe that's my jacket. I believe that's my jacket.
Okay.
Because my jacket is bright orange.
Come on, court people.
So is that you getting to work?
Yes, sir.
Anything abnormal at that time?
No, just looks like I was trying to get there and not be late. I have a tendency to wait till the last second.
And I now play
I'm with you, brother.
IMG_0697. And what do we see in that video?
Me running very, very quickly. Without my jacket.
What did you think at this point was going on?
I wasn't sure. I had just received a phone call and was still on the phone with her, so I was just trying to get back to the house as soon as possible.
At some point, did you get home?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And did you talk to the defendant once you got there?
Yes, sir.
What was going on when you arrived at the house?
She was outside on the back porch crying.
They'll show us pictures of deboned baby flesh and crushed bones, but they won't show us video of him running down the street. Good on you. Good on you, Court TV.
Were the police there yet?
No, sir.
What did you all talk about at that point?
I asked her what was going on, really, like details, and what she thought happened and stuff like that.
You said she was on the back patio crying, if I understood you correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where on the back patio was she?
Underneath the, like, where sitting in a chair right outside the back door.
Yeah, by that wooden bar?
Yeah,
structure?
that used to be there, yeah.
She was sitting down
Yes, sir.
on the back patio,
Yes, sir.
crying.
Yes, sir.
There are woods all around the house, right?
Yes, sir.
When you got home, was she not looking for Quentin?
No, sir.
What was she doing in the chair other than crying, if anything?
Just crying, saying she didn't know where he was.
Had she called the police yet, to your knowledge?
No, sir.
Oh,
At some
God.
point, were the police called?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, did Michelle come over there
Yes, sir.
and her daughter?
Hadn't even called the police yet. Great. Stacy Nelson dropping the $3 super sticker. Says fist bump. Stacy Nelson. Stacy, congratulations and thank you. According to what it's saying here, this is your first super on a live stream. If that is true, I'm glad it was here. Thank you so much, Stacy Nelson. That is much appreciated. Let's get back to it.
Daughter to Leah, or one of her daughters?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how it was that Michelle knew to come over there?
Yes, sir. I called her.
When, in relation to your arriving home, did the police finally get called?
After I took a look around, I called Michelle and then called them, maybe? Yeah.
Is it fair to say it sounds like you don't necessarily remember who exactly called the police when?
Oh, no, I remember I called the police. But I believe Michelle was the first person that was called to see if she had maybe gotten Quentin or something.
Was Paul there when you got home?
I can't remember.
So let's talk about when the police get there. Okay, do you remember talking to some police officers in the driveway?
Yes, sir.
And the defendant was there, right?
Yes, sir.
Did she start talking about Quentin's father, Henry Bubba Moss Jr.?
Yes, sir.
Now, had she been talking to you about him before they arrived, or no?
She mentioned him.
When did she mention him? Was it when you were on the phone in the car, or after you had gotten home? Or
I believe it was when I got back to the house.
And what did she say about him that you remember?
That he had sent her a message saying that she didn't deserve to have Quentin.
Now, when was she saying that she had gotten those messages from him?
Maybe I think she said it was 2 weeks ago at that date.
Is this morning, the morning of Quentin being gone, was that the first you had heard of those messages?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so she's talking to you about something that supposedly happened a couple weeks ago. That you're saying she hadn't told you about that until this moment.
Correct.
Now, did you all talk during the time period between when you got home and when police arrived about what she had done during the night? Where if anywhere, she had gone?
No.
But there was some period of time between when you got home and when the police got there.
Yes, sir.
And then the police were there for quite a long time, right?
Till we went to the police station, and probably after that.
At some point, did you hear her tell a police officer that she had left the house sometime after 1 a.m. To get some Orajel from a friend at a Chevron?
Yeah, that's what she told the police officer. Yes, sir.
At the time she told that to the police officer, was that the first time you had heard that?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to show you a clip of body-worn camera footage that's been admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 8, okay?
God, this poor kid.
Are you kind of oriented on what we're looking at here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
First of all, does this opening frame here depict the patio area where the defendant was sitting down at the time that you got home from work in the first place?
Oh, that's him. Okay.
Is that where she was sitting when I got home?
Well, I mean, does anything in this image show where she was sitting down?
Yeah. The far.
I was wondering who that was.
Beside Paul, but Paul wasn't. I don't know where Paul was. She was sitting in the far left chair, the empty one.
And you're saying she was alone at that point?
Yes.
Okay. This is sometime later, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to play this for you now and ask you some questions about it.
Okay.
Have patience for sale. Did y'all go anywhere last night or yesterday with Vic? That maybe he could have followed you or something like that? Y'all didn't go anywhere? You yourself.
I know, because I got my chest full yesterday, so you know what I mean? I went to this board deal, that was it.
2 o'clock yesterday afternoon?
No, like morning, wise, and I couldn't go to sleep.
Okay, so where'd you go?
Right up the road right there, that Chevron. And I met my friend that I used to work with, she had board deal because they were having a circle day when I called.
Okay. Did you go anywhere else? Have you maybe been home? So when did you get home?
I can tell you exactly on that.
I stopped the playback at 12:13:19 on the timestamp. Could you hear as you were standing there? First of all, is that you in the orange reflective vest there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Could you hear what she was saying to this officer? I mean, obviously the body cam picked it up, but could you hear it standing there?
Yes, sir.
How were you feeling? What were you thinking as you heard her say this?
Well, you can see me tilt my head to the side as if I had no knowledge of what she was referring to.
Yeah, did it? I mean, how did it strike you? How did this story strike you? What did you think?
What the hell? Sorry. Excuse my language. What the heck?
It's fine. You had no knowledge of this at the time.
Yes, sir.
You said that you tilted your head to the side when you first heard this story. Can you? I'm going to play it back, and I want to see if you can point out. First of all, show us what that looked like just from the stand.
Just like a tilt to the side, like what?
And if I play this back, can you point out to us where that happens in this video?
Oh, yes, sir.
Have patience for sale. Did y'all go anywhere last night or yesterday with Vic? That maybe he could have followed you or something like that? Y'all didn't go anywhere?
Not going with my kids, no.
No, you yourself.
Yeah, I know, because I got my chest full yesterday, so you know what I mean? I went to this board deal, that was it.
2 o'clock yesterday afternoon?
No, like morning, wise, and I couldn't go to sleep.
Okay, so where'd you go?
Right up the road right there, that Chevron. And I met my friend that I used to work with, she had board deal because they were having a circle day when I called.
Okay. Did you go anywhere else? Have you maybe been home?
I'm pausing it because I see you pointing at the screen. That's 12:13:15. We can kind of see your head tilt to the side a little bit.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to play that one more time for just a couple seconds back for anybody that might not have caught it. Because you would agree that it is subtle, right?
Yes, sir. And he was moving around, so you could kind of, you have to pay attention to see it.
Okay. Did you go anywhere else? Have you maybe been home? So when did you get home?
All right, so you had not seen that before, or you had not heard that before, I should say.
No, I haven't.
And your reaction was what the hell revised to what the heck? Right?
Yes, sir.
Did you all go to the police station?
Yes, sir.
And did you cooperate with an interview or perhaps multiple interviews that day?
Quite a few.
Did the police ask you for consent to search your phone?
Yeah.
And did you agree to that?
By all means.
Did that concern you at all?
Not one bit.
After the police station day, where did you go?
God, he hates his bitch.
And a few days later,
Like we all do.
Did you come in to the FBI office in Savannah for a follow-up interview?
Yes, sir.
Now, between the first day's interviews and those follow-up interviews, had the FBI asked you to do anything in particular as it relates to the defendant?
Yes, sir.
And what was that?
To
Let me ask you this: that they put you up in a hotel room, that they wire that hotel room up for audio and video.
Yes, sir.
Did they tell you why it was that they wanted to do that?
Yes, sir.
What was it? What was the reason?
Try to get a confession.
To collect evidence against.
To try to get a confession.
Did you know at this point what had happened to Quentin?
No, sir. I had. I just know what I was told.
What were you told?
And did you agree to this monitoring of the hotel room?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any concerns about doing that?
No, none at all.
Did you have any concerns about you yourself getting in trouble from something that might be said on that recording by one or the other of you?
Not at all. Wait, by me? No.
Did you sign paperwork agreeing to this?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 31 here. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
Me initialing for permission for them to bug the hotel room, quote unquote.
And does that document have your signature on it?
Three places where I initialed.
And when does it reflect in terms of the date that you agreed to do this?
10/7/2022.
Now, did you all go through with this?
Yes, sir.
Now, before agreeing to this, let me ask you this. After the first day of interviews, you all leave, but before the follow-up interviews at the FBI office, did you talk to her about that night and what had happened?
I am so sorry.
It was a long, kind of convoluted question. I'll try again. So y'all go in on October 5th, and you're interviewed by the police at the police department.
Correct.
At some point, y'all leave, right?
Yes, sir.
And then at some point, y'all are in a bugged hotel room.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Between those two things, between leaving the police station on day one and the hotel room operation, I'll call it, were you and the defendant together with each other?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you talking to her at that point about like what had happened to Quentin and where she had been that night?
Yeah.
Did she ever? Did you ask her about this Oragel story that she had told the police on the scene?
No, not in detail.
Did you ask her about that during the hotel room thing?
Yes, sir.
And did she repeat it to you?
Repeat denying it?
Well, keep saying that that's what she had been doing.
Yeah. But yeah, yes, sir. I don't know where my head was at when I was saying that.
You might want to ask that again.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure that Ms. Youngkin understood.
Were you skeptical of the Oragel story?
Yes, sir.
When you're in the hotel room with her, did you ask her about
Yes, sir.
it? And what did she say about it?
That's what she did.
That it was true?
Yes, sir. And she stuck to it. Sorry about that.
I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 32. Do you recognize this disc?
Yes, sir.
And what's on it?
Recording of the hotel.
All right.
The room that we were in.
Just a couple selections, right?
Yes, sir.
Does it fairly and accurately depict some of your interactions in the hotel room with the defendant?
Quite well.
Oh, we get to hear the bugged phone call now. This should be interesting. We get to hear the FBI wiretap. Well, not really wiretap, this is a bug. We can hear the FBI bug. No, this is not Florida. This is Georgia. And Amil has just gifted 5 Legal Vices memberships. If you were one of those people that got the 5 Legal Vices memberships, make sure you give a super special thanks. I can't see who got it because my YouTube studio chat is wonked up and it's not scrolling. So if you're one of those 5 people that just got a gifted membership from Amil, give them a super special thanks. Thank you so much for the support. Appreciate it, brother. And Lancelot 652 with the $5. I feel attacked. I'm in my 30s and still enjoy Fireball. Look, the best whiskey is the whiskey you like to drink the way you like to drink it. That's a fast, hard rule. But Lancelot, come on, Lancelot. Just saying. Yeah. I'm a snob. It's my fault. What do you want? I confess I'm a whiskey snob, but you do you, bro. The best whiskey is what you like to drink, the way you like to drink it. That's where we'll leave it.
And I would offer this into evidence as State's Exhibit 32, Your Honor.
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, Exhibit 32 is admitted without objection.
And I would introduce 31 at this point, Your Honor, to the consent form.
No objection to that as well.
All right, very well, it is admitted.
Porcelain Thunder, this guy is far from a loser. Not even jokeable. This is a great young man here. This is a great young man who truly loved those kids way more than their fucking mother did.
And there are 5 files on this disk. The first 4.
That's the way to do it, June.
37 minutes
Auchentoshan
long,
is a
and the last one
fantastic
is
whiskey.
about 7 minutes long. I'll start with the first one.
All
File
right,
name beginning 1941.
let's go. Let's hear this wiretap.
So can I ask you a question? Do you mind? Are you gonna get it? I'm asking you a question before I ask you this question. No, because I need to know. Are you gonna get angry?
I can't tell you if I'm getting angry, but I don't know questions.
Why didn't you lie to me about the Ford job?
I didn't. I did not lie to you about the order.
So you went and met Misty?
Yes, and I drove in and I drove out. And they tried to say that again, and I asked them to show me a picture of this or whatever. Did y'all speak to my phone late? Did you speak to her? Did you speak to her husband? Is what I wanted to know. You know? And they said her husband. Why didn't you speak to her?
That was hard to hear.
So can I ask you a question? Do you mind? Are you gonna get it? I'm asking you a question before I ask you this question. No, because I need to know. Are you gonna get angry?
I can't tell you if I'm getting angry, but I don't know questions.
Why did you lie to me about the Ford job?
I didn't. I did not lie to you about the order.
So you went and met Misty?
Yes, and I drove in and I drove out. And they tried to say that again, and I asked them to show me a picture of this or whatever. Did y'all speak to my phone late? Did you speak to her? Did you speak to her husband? Is what I wanted to know. You know? And they said her husband. Like,
I paused it at 1942-17 on the timestamp. And the timestamp reflects that this was on October 8th of 2022, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you catch there what she said about what police told her about who they had interviewed?
She said they interviewed her husband.
She was saying police told her that they had only interviewed Misty's husband.
Well, yeah.
That's what she told you, at least.
Yes, sir.
And I'll pick up the playback again.
No, there is order. There's order. So you went and got order.
I went and got order. Pull it in and pull it out, because that's what we did last night.
And then you question me again about that?
That's the only thing I asked.
We heard you say there that there was an orgy on there. I'll give you that. What were you referring to?
There was orgeal behind the mirror in the house, in the bathroom.
When did you see that orgy on there?
The day, the 5th, I believe.
Okay, so like after, was it after y'all been in the police station?
Yeah, no, maybe. I'm not going to act like I remember 100%, but I know it was there. I think there was 2 tubes, like an empty tube and one that had some in it.
And where'd you say it was?
Behind the mirror in the downstairs bathroom connected to the room.
The second file here with the file name starting with 2013. We'll publish that name.
So what did you do when you left? At 1 in the morning. What did you do?
I went straight up there to the right up to the shop, got the order, looked around and said, "Let it came home."
That's what you did.
Yes.
You can look me in my
I'm
eyes.
looking you in your eyes, Annie. That is what I did.
You can look
That
me
is
in
what I did.
Just, no, you don't
Stop.
do anything else.
Look at me in my eyes too. That is what I did. There was nothing else that I did. I get home and I went to bed.
I misunderstood. I thought they just like got a room and he called and they bugged the phone call. They just planted cameras around the room and invited her there. All right, I had to wrap my head around that there real quick. All right, it finally processed what was going on here. All right, we'll go back a little bit because I got to wrap my mind around this shit. Okay, that was all right.
You can look me in my eyes.
I'm looking you in your eyes, Danny. That is what I did.
You can look
That
me
is
in
what I did.
Just no, you
Stop.
don't
Look at me in my eyes, too. That is what I did. There was nothing else that I did. I came home and I went to bed. And I woke up to my baby gone. Do you understand me?
So you didn't do anything else?
No, nothing else at all. I was gone for 12 minutes.
And who did you meet?
Misty.
You met Misty?
Yes.
And now the third file, starting with
Her love language is shrieking.
That's like all family believes me more than my man does at this point.
I just don't know everything.
You do.
Nobody knows everything.
The only thing we don't know is what happened to Quentin.
So what did happen in your class?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea what the fathom. I cannot make up something in my head about what could possibly happen. I have no idea what happened to that baby.
I'm asking you, as a man to my woman, what do you think may have happened?
Yeah.
I'm just, we ain't talked in a minute about what could have happened.
But we did spoke about last night, and I have no idea what could have happened. I don't care about what could have happened. I want to know what happened.
So where's he at?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm not talking about you.
No, you just sat there and said, so where's he at? I'm getting picked up. You know what I'm doing about the meat? No. If like the only person I'm sitting here wanting the love and support from that I thought would be on my side 100% is on the fucking FBI side.
and the fourth file named
Well,
2025.
she knew they were onto her.
Well, go smoke your cigarette out. Wait till you calm down.
The only thing that you did not know that I did. And I explained it.
Look at her in his. She's all up in his grill.
You did what?
Laying that word down.
That I didn't know about.
That's the only thing you didn't know. That when I left you at 204, you were awake. When I got back, you were awake.
From 204?
Yes.
Okay. But not from here.
Not that. I like shook you and said I'm going to go get order based on her now. I was like, all right, whatever. No. But I get back.
Okay. And you remember that clearly?
I remember that clear as day. You made that little sound that I hate fucking do.
Okay. Okay.
And then the last file started 2029.
You should have possibly saying that. Look, because I just need support. But I'm asking for your love and support and not your questions and doubt.
I'm asking you questions so I can understand.
But how many times do you have to ask me the same question about the same time, just like the fucking FBI does?
Okay, so it's just like the FBI, but you don't talk to me.
Yes, I have. I just sat here and explained to you.
You just talk.
I told you about it yesterday too, about what I did. You made me promise not to.
Okay, so you promised me with your pinky promise
Yes.
that you went and got orders.
And I went and got word up from Missy. I pulled in the neighborhood and I turned around and I went home.
You didn't go nowhere.
I didn't go anywhere else.
You didn't do anything.
Nothing at all. Nothing.
Okay. That's not your secret. I love it.
I think what you're doing is you don't know that in your head, now I got you over here questioning me.
No.
This is exactly what it is. Danny,
No.
this is one of the hardest times of my life, and I did not need you to question me. I need your love and affection and support, and somebody sit there and tell me that we're going to find them, that it's going to be okay, that they're going to do their job.
We're going to find him. We're going to find Clint. They are going to find Clint. They're going to find him.
I hope we do.
I do too. I really
So
do.
they told me that they still didn't have any leads.
Is what you ain't had none?
No.
Makes sense.
What did I tell you?
That they didn't have anything they can tell me. And it's aggravating.
It's frustrating as hell.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
She's just mad at him. She's not showing any sadness or concern for where her child is.
Why is this hard? Nah, baby. I'm the only other person in that house that's involved. The only thing I got interrogated like the goddamn fucking. Bro, you know that. Oh, it's funny because you think that I'm I'm sitting here, not in the same position as like you think that the shit is a game to me, but I don't. You. Woo, boy. My life. You gonna call somebody to pick you up? That's what you're doing? Alright. That's all you do.
I wanted to come in here and I wanted to lay
Well, I
down,
wanted you to
and I
sit.
wanted to be comforted. I wanted to be sat there and told that we're gonna do our best and that we're gonna do what we gotta do.
We are.
I did not want to sit here and be questioned the second time in a row by you about 1 o'clock.
It's the second night in a row, and it's not 1 o'clock. It's 8:30.
About 1 a.m.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what Life 360 said. I apologize.
It was 1 a.m. already.
It was like 1:15.
And I got back at 1:25. I was gone 12 minutes. It was
And you went and met Misty.
Went and met Misty, Cowboys, y'all.
And you said they called her?
I think so, yes.
What'd she say?
And she confirmed it.
She confirmed
I'm pretty sure, yes. It's not like they sat there and told me what was said.
Oh, but they.
They said that they spoke to Misty and they didn't question me no more about the order.
Oh, okay. I did tell. I mean, because there was a word down in the cabinet, but I'm not lying to you. So I need you to come back over here, like to me, like not right here physically, but I need you to come back over this way, okay? Because I did tell you there was order down in the cabinet. You know, there was 2 of that cat that was holding the cat, from what my knowledge is. Like I know there's 3 things that were jail in that cabinet. Okay, that's fact. And they didn't check behind that mirror. They didn't. I know that. Okay. But it's there. And it's if you didn't grab it, why didn't you grab it?
Because my mom wasn't hurting anymore. I got the toothpick out. It's pulled up. I can eat on this side now.
So after that night, you didn't eat it anymore?
No, not besides the end.
Why didn't you grab the insult?
Because when I was trying that, it wasn't working. It was making me gag.
With the accuser?
When I was trying to put it in right there, it was making me gag going down the back of my throat.
Okay. All right, well, you take your second. I'll tell you in a second. Right?
It was a waste of questions. I didn't go out to that guy, but you were asking me to say
No, I have no intention of that. I just need I'll just smoke a cigarette with you. It don't matter. I mean, just give me a second. I'll meet you down there because I'm just.
I want to know where my baby is. And I want people like you and that guy stop coming at me like I did something to my child.
Why did I come at you like that to you? Because every time I ask you a fucking question.
No, man, it's not every time you ask me a question. Every time you ask me about what I am, I told you. It was when you went into other micro questions about it that it felt like you were an FBI agent sitting there trying to question me.
But you don't treat me like that when I ask you any other question? You don't treat me like that when I talk to you any other way? Or
Yeah, I do.
You do treat me like that.
What do you mean?
You treat me like I'm accusing you of something.
No, I only do that when you sat there and you asked the first time I said yes, I'm not missing. But you continuously ask me is when I started getting aggravated.
This time.
Huh?
This time.
Yeah, I know last night when you continuously asked. This time. This time. They did exactly what they wanted to do. Show us part.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. Very beginning, you didn't. They did. Very towards the part, and when you treat me, prove it.
Yeah, taser. Just because I like the way you think, Alan. Just
I
taser.
didn't really like you asking about that Origel trip, did you?
No, sorry, she didn't.
Now, sometime after this, did you agree also to have your telephone communications monitored?
Yes, sir, I did.
And-
Also in 31.
Say again?
It's oh no, it's not. I'm sorry. I thought it was on this document, it's a separate document. But yes, sir, I did agree to have my phone monitored.
I'd like to approach with what I marked at Stacy's in 33 year old. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
My consent for them to monitor my telephone, my cell phone.
Was this is this a fair and accurate copy of that document?
Yes, sir.
Is it one of those forms or more than one?
There's multiple.
Why are there multiple?
There's a second one from a month later, because I guess they have to renew them, I guess.
Did you have any problem with agreeing to this?
No, not at all.
Why is that?
I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, they already knew about what I was doing drug-wise, so I had no issues with anything they wanted to find.
Your Honor, I would offer states 33 into evidence at this time.
No objection, Your Honor.
Right, the one on the front, is that the first one?
Yes, sir.
And when does that show that that document was signed?
The 9th of October.
And then what about the second one?
The 8th of November.
Okay, so the first one's on the 9th, and then you renewed it again a month later?
Yes, sir. And I still, even past this, there was contact between me and them so they could monitor.
So it was more than just that?
Yeah.
Now, did they explain to you what of your phone communications were going to be monitored, whether it was just your contact with the defendant or all of them?
Well, it says the purpose of viewing, listening to, and or recording any activity I may have with Leilani.
Was your understanding though that they would be able to listen to all of your telephone calls with anybody and see all of your text messages with anybody?
Yeah.
And you were still willing to do this?
Absolutely.
Now, we just watched these videos from the hotel. The timestamp and date stamp shows that those were on October 8th, right?
Yes, sir.
And we've talked about the consent form for monitoring your phone, and that was the first one, at least, was signed on October 9th, right?
Yes, sir.
Where were you when you signed the second one?
My mother's house in North Carolina.
When did you go to your mother's house in North Carolina?
I think I signed this first paper, and I think I left Georgia that day, if I'm not mistaken.
Why did you leave Georgia?
Actually, no, I didn't leave Georgia. I left Savannah. I went to Atlanta for a weekend.
And why did you go to Atlanta?
To get away from Savannah.
And after Atlanta, where did you go?
To Dunn, North Carolina.
To your mother's house?
Yes, sir.
And was that, at that point, was that essentially the end of your time living in Savannah or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you.
She gives zero
a couple
fucks.
Miscellaneous questions. Let me ask you this: did things between you and the defendant kind of fall apart during this investigation?
There was already nothing there.
Do you remember ever seeing Quentin with any favorite toys or stuffed animals or anything like that?
No, not specifically.
Do you remember him having a favorite Mickey Mouse toy?
No, I don't.
If he had a favorite Mickey Mouse toy, is that something that you think you would remember having lived with him during that time frame?
More than likely, yes.
And you have no recollection of that?
No, sir.
If he had had a Mickey Mouse toy that he slept with every night, would you think he would remember that?
Yes, sir, more than likely.
And do you remember anything like that?
No, sir.
Let me ask you about trash, okay? You lived in that house for some months, if I understand correctly.
How long? Yeah.
For a period of months, you lived there?
Yes.
We have seen introduced into evidence a picture of 3 trash cans on like a wooden rack in the carport area.
Yeah, I remember that. That rack.
Say again?
I remember the wooden rack where the trash cans were kept.
What did y'all do with garbage in that house, like kitchen garbage?
Took them to those 3 trash cans that were sitting on top of that rack.
And then what would you do with the trash cans?
They would get loaded up in the truck and dumped off in a larger dumpster to be taken away.
What dumpster would y'all use for that?
Azalea, mobile home.
Now, what vehicle would you use to take those garbage cans to Azalea?
Thomas's white Silverado.
Is that something that you would do, or who would do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would anybody?
I would.
Would anybody else do that?
Not normally, no.
Okay. Let me ask you this: did you guys ever drive around with garbage in the back of the Dodge Journey?
No.
Like just a trash bag with leftover food in the back of the Dodge Journey?
Yeah, any stinky shrimp pasta?
Stink up the vehicle?
Um,
It just sounds nasty.
At the time, October 4th, October 5th, was there any garbage in the back of the Dodge Journey?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you have any recollection of ever having a garbage bag in the back of the Dodge Journey? Like full of leftover food?
Oh, no.
The back of the Dodge Journey is upholstered, right? Had carpet?
Yes, sir. That's another reason.
Why would you not want to put the trash bag full of old food on that?
Stain the carpet and seep in, and sounds nasty.
Do you have any recollection of having had any shrimp pasta in the household in the days leading up to Quentin's disappearance?
Possibly.
And anything more you remember about that?
No.
One of those.
This poor guy. I feel really bad for him. This bitch here. Need to bring back torture.
No further questions.
All right. It's the end of direct examination.
I ask counsel to approach.
And while they're approaching, we'll see. Amil's been a member for 3 months. Thank you so much. A member of the Clean and Sober crew for 3 months is definitely clean and sober. Yeah. Oh, she is listening. She is listening in on the sidebar, so good for her. AP says Anok is a pretty good sipping. The whole Anok range is really, really good. That's a great Scotch. I like their peated stuff quite a bit. You are correct, sir. Good choice, AP. Anok is a great whiskey from the Noctu distillery. All right, we can fast forward through the what is this, sidebar? It's a long sidebar.
Okay. So, Mr. Youngkin, I'm going to ask you to step down. You can have a seat in the. I'm going to ask you to have a seat. You can leave that right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got started a little with the evidence itself a little bit later today, although we were working prior to that. I'm going to let y'all go for the evening, and we're going to start again in the morning. We're going to start at 9 o'clock, so back to that, okay? And I just want to remind you again, don't discuss the case with anyone. Don't allow anyone to discuss the case with you. Don't read, do research, watch television articles. Don't consume any media reports about the case. I am going to release you this evening. I hope you have a good evening. Please know I understand this is not easy, and you have my thanks. We'll see you in the morning. Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up day 3. We will pick this up tomorrow with the morning session of day 4, which I guess will be the cross-examination of the boyfriend, Daniel. Now, I think I know where it's going to go. If I'm right, which I kind of hope I'm not, but it's what I would be doing if I was the defense guy. Oh, so you're drunk, you drink a lot, you're an alcoholic, you're not really reliable, even though, I mean, he clearly was a reliable person, and he didn't have that much to drink, really, but I guess it affects everybody differently. But I think that's the angle they'll take. You drink a lot, drinking clouds your memory, you know what I mean? Oh, and then you're trying to get her into a confession. You're to save your own self. Or he's going to go down some stupid path. I can feel it in my bones. But we'll find out how that goes tomorrow. We'll pick it up at the same time, 8 a.m. Eastern U.S. time, 1 p.m. UK time, midnight Australia Eastern Daylight Time, and 10 p.m. my time here. We'll do this. So, I don't even know what day it is. Today is Tuesday, right? I think so. Yeah, so we'll do this tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, and most likely Friday. We'll have to see. And then Saturday, coming up Saturday, I have a camping trip planned. I need to. It's been a rough 2 weeks in the office. I gotta say. Well, not just the office. It's been a rough professional and personal 2 weeks, and I need to decompress. So I'm gonna have someone take care of the pig dogs. Just me and my tent and some food and whiskey and cigars are going camping for a day. And because of the Lego stream last Sunday, I owe you all a good old fashioned mukbang, just an eating stream. So from the campground, and I can only target the start time roughly around 10 p.m. Friday night. It just depends how long it takes me to wake up on Saturday, get to the campground, and get things set up. But it'll probably be late Friday night. I will do a live stream from the campground, doing a good old fashioned Korean mukbang. We'll be eating a Korean dish called jjajangmyeon. It's like udon noodles, like thicker noodles with I just call it axle grease. It's a sweet black Chinese sauce with some onions and stuff in it. And there's a lot of it. I should probably bring the container and show you. It's on the kitchen table. I'll try to remember to bring it in tomorrow. But it's a giant. Just think of it as like ramen with a thick black sauce. But the package is like this big. So we'll do a good old fashioned mukbang stream from the campground. Yeah, and that'll be the weekend. And Sunday I'll come back and I've got to go cook barbecue at the cigar lounge. I'll try not to toast off the old stash now that it's grown back to even longer than the pre-fire days. Let's see, we can get rid of we can remove that. So that's what's coming up. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we'll have this. Saturday, well, Friday morning we'll have this. Friday evening U.S. time we'll have my mukbang stream. I owe you for being so generous over the weekend. And we'll pick this up on Monday. Hopefully we'll be done with this by the end of next week, but it'll probably go into the following week a little bit, unfortunately. And then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled stuff. There's no particular trials that I want to cover, so we got a lot of ground to cover. There's Sarah Boone stuff. There's What the Hales stuff. There's Judge Grudge stuff. There's probably some Karen Reed stuff we need to look at. There's a lot of stuff going on. Plus just whatever happens in the world of everyday life. So we'll be back to our normal, just kind of different topics. We'll be doing different topics probably starting in a couple of weeks. So what did he say he was tomorrow? Tomorrow we're doing more of this. We'll start off with the cross-examination of this guy, the boyfriend. Island Jeff, I need to relax. Also, Jeff, going to do the thing I hate and eating it. No, I just like during streams. During streams, I just think it's weird to eat on camera. It's just a me thing. I don't have, if you want to eat on stream, go ahead. But for me, there's just something, I don't know, it's kind of rude. It's just there. But if it's a designated eating stream, I don't have any problem. We've done one mukbang before with some horrific KFC product. It's been about 2 years since we did that. But yeah, it's an eating stream, so I have no problem doing that. All right, that's it, folks. On that note, we'll send you off into the wild today. Sean had like 30 sandwiches on stream the other day. He did not. So yeah, I'll probably get sick having that much jjajangmyeon and whiskey in me. That's all we got today, folks. Let's look at our like and subscribe poll. Now is your last chance to hit that like and subscribe button. We've got 252 people here and 259 likes. Please, if you haven't already done so, take this opportunity to get down there and smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed or think you are, just double check to make sure you're still subscribed. Because YouTube is they are on a subscription cull. We gained a huge amount of subscribers over the past couple of weeks. A few thousand, but they've just see how I'm just kind of refreshing my screen here to see what YouTube has done. Oh God, geez. So far, we're down about 60 subscribers in 2 days. YouTube is just on a cull. So if you have already subscribed, just please do me the favor of double checking to make sure you are still subscribed. That would be super awesome. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. please subscribe to the channel and enjoy us and hang out with chat. We have the best chat on the entire interwebs. Our like and subscribe poll today was, what is the least likely thing to happen in this trial? What is the least likely thing to happen? 11% of you said the least likely thing to happen is the prosecutor's going to whip out a guitar and start singing about reasonable doubt. 24% of you says the defense reveals the real killer. That is unlikely, yes. 28% of you say the least likely thing to happen will be, it was Colonel Mustard in the library. That is also unlikely to happen. But I agree with chat. 37% of you, more than one in three of you say the least likely thing to happen is that she is found not guilty and walks. Yeah, I think that is pretty unlikely. All right, people, on that note, thank you, mods, for being here. Thank you for hanging out and chilling. Chat, thank you for the super support, for getting us to day 57 of the emotional support potato big dog camera. That is an achievement. We'll see if we get to day 58 tomorrow. So for and on behalf of Strawberry and her little butt over there, and for and on behalf of Yoda and myself, thank you for the gifted memberships, for the purchase memberships, for these super chats, for everything you guys do, and thank you for just being here and hanging out with me for a couple of hours. Don't miss me. Don't miss me tomorrow. We'll be right back. Just 22 hours, well, even 21 and a half hours from now. Until then, take care, everybody. Love you all. You guys rock. The best chat on the interwebs. See you later. Have a great time, and bye.